Hey everyone, welcome to the Cinema Uncivilized podcast, where we, Josh, Drayden, and Daniel, give our uncivilized opinions on your favorite movies.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone. There you go. How about that?
Shoot, just as good as Elvis or whoever we're talking about.
Michael Jackson version?
Michael Jackson.
Blue moon, you saw me stand. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Cinema Uncivilized. This week's movie discussion, we're going to be talking about Richard Linklater's new movie, Blue Moon. Came out last year, starring
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke.
I know he was bald, but
yeah, he looked completely different. Bobby Cannavale, Andrew Scott, Margaret Qualley. Those are the main ones. It got 2 Oscar nominations. Of course, we know Best Actor for Ethan Hawke. And then Best Screenplay, Original Screenplay. Some familiars that Richard Linklater has directed. We know that he also did Before Sunrise trilogy. School of Rock. I didn't know he did that one.
Nice.
legendary. That's probably the best one he's done.
Yeah. Well, he did Dazed and Confused as well. That's a good one. And then Hitman with Glenn Powell.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on? Okay. Let me introduce the movie first. So, Blue Moon. This follows a guy named Lorenz Hart. He is a lyricist songwriter from back, early to mid 1900s. This is taking place during World War II, though. I believe it's 1943.
Yeah, 1943.
Yeah. So, yeah, wars started, and Anyway, so this film takes place all in one night. His new show, Oklahoma, just premiered or debuted at on Broadway, and so this movie is kind of a after party set in a bar, and it's about this man who's played by Ethan Hawke, who middle-aged man. Honestly, I thought he looked a lot older than 47.
Hey, well, back in those days, by 25, you were already looking quite cool,
Plus the amount of what is it? What is his drink that he likes? Is it rum or is
I think it's
it
whiskey.
whiskey and his big fat cigars?
Yeah.
That'll do that to you.
Yeah.
I learned via Wikipedia, like, he was supposed to be, in the movie, he was supposed to be sober before he went to the bar.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't pick up on that. But he broke that pretty quick while he was in there.
In real life or on set?
In the movie, like the plot of the movie, he was supposed to be like having been sober for a little while before he went to the bar. But yeah, he eventually just cracks, I guess.
Yeah, we learn a lot about this guy's character and kind of who he is, the relationships that he has, things he goes through, and man, let me tell you, I really felt for this guy. It was a little slow getting into it. I'd say probably took me about 20-25 minutes to get into it, but then I realized as well, I'm like, things are kind of like going over my head a bit. I didn't have the subtitles on. So as soon as I turned those on, it changed everything. But what was your guys' thoughts on this movie? What did you expect going into it? First impressions. What are we thinking?
Sure, we'll go. I knew because of Richard Linklater and some of the movies I've seen in just recent history that like it's very dialogue heavy. So I knew going into it that would be the case. Little did I know that Ethan Hawke would absolutely be talking his pants off like the whole movie. I knew the story was about like the guy being a bit of having a rough night essentially. But when you get the first like slide or showing the quotes about him, just very loud party guy, like all that, and then just like the saddest man I've ever seen. I was like, okay, well, let's get into it. Yeah, why is he so sad? And honestly, it is just extremely like depressing just seeing the guy like absolutely make kind of just a fool of himself. And not to say we all know a guy like this, but I'm pretty sure we all kind of know someone who maybe like he wants to be so outgoing and so like be the guy, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. But he tries to like really force it, and you kind of feel awkward for him. You're like, okay, like let's just calm down, buddy. Like you don't have to do all that. So it was just like 90 minutes of just going like, oh, okay, please stop doing that. And me personally, though, I'm not sure if I would say feel bad. It was more so like seeing the situation unfold and wincing at it, but more so like by the 20th minute, I wanted to punch the guy in the face. I was like, this guy's so annoying. That didn't ruin the movie. I really liked the movie, but just like the character is understandably like left on to the side by everyone else for good reason. It sucks though, that's just the way he is, but I don't blame people for keeping him at a distance. And from what we learn about him, I thought it was really well done. Ethan Hawke, I thought about this. Watching this movie made Michael B. Jordan's win look even worse. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if we had done the Oscar predictions after I'd seen this movie, I would have rooted for this guy for sure.
Like, right from the very beginning, Ethan Hawke was unrecognizable. Like, Ethan Hawke was not Ethan Hawke. He was so into this character, like, just like his charismatic self, his confidence, the way he talked, it was just, he completely transformed, and I was completely blown away by this performance as well. And it's so sad that Ethan Hawke had like the least amount of talk and momentum going into the awards after this performance.
I'm curious if it's because like maybe it was an underwatched film. I don't know. I mean, like,
probably, yeah.
None of us watched it, so
I had interest and I knew about it, and I knew it's funny. Everyone that watches this movie says that his performance was very good. I don't know if that just means that people just acknowledge, oh, it was a very good performance, but we're going to vote for this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Because it makes less and less sense the more movies. If I were to watch The Secret Agent, and I think that guy's better too, then it was for sure just like the most ludicrous win of all time. Because where did that come from?
Yeah.
But yeah, he carries, I mean, not to say everyone does a good job, but Ethan Hawke's role is essentially carrying this whole movie in the span of a couple hours, right? Like, it's a 90-minute movie, but I'm assuming maybe 4 or 5 hours pass by that he's in there. And he's just locked in, man. Like, it was unbelievable. Because maybe at first I know Ethan Hawke a bit. I don't watch too many Ethan Hawke movies, but the more the movie went on, the more I'm like, yeah, this guy's a totally different person. He's not at all playing himself. And the dedication is there that I've researched about. Like, he did shave his head or part of his head so that he can have the comb over. Because I was wondering that. I'm like, does he have a bald cap on?
I was wondering
like
that
a bulge
too.
in his head.
Yes, I noticed that too.
Yeah, if you look up Lorenz Hart, he actually looks exactly like him. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Or something interesting is that they waited 10 years to make this movie. Ethan Hawke wanted to make it, but Richard Linklater said he wasn't quite old enough yet, so let's just wait.
Right.
That's why. Yeah.
That's actually.
Yeah. So good.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's cool that that director has like so much love for Ethan Hawke that he's willing to put it on the back burner for 10 years.
Well, they're good friends.
They've done so many movies together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually that they're just best friends. And so Richard Linklater has written other movies like Before Sunrise, Sunset, but he actually didn't write this one. This one was written by someone else. I should have the credit open. I apologize. I'll read it once I find it. But he read what was like a document, the way Ethan Hawke described it, and it was essentially just the dialogue of the scenes that we see, and there wasn't really much of a description to it. And Richard Linklater asked Ethan Hawke, like, what do you think of this? And Ethan Hawke's like, we should make this movie. That's what we should do. So Richard's like, I figured you'd say that. It was written by Robert Kaplow. That's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking at Robert Kaplow and like other movies that he's written. I think this is his only one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it wasn't supposed to be really a movie, I guess, or like it essentially just sent it to Richard Linklater for feedback. So I don't know what the goal was,
That's interesting.
but eventually they got to making it, and beats me what the budget is. From what I understand, it was actually filmed on a soundstage. So they built this set, and I think it was just 15 days, like a really quick shoot.
Yeah, I was thinking it must have been a quick shoot because it's all just in this bar, right? And it's mostly Ethan Hawke and like one or two other people, and then just background people as some extras.
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. His performance is incredible because how many lines does this guy have, and how well does Ethan Hawke sell this? Like he sells it in such a way of you're annoyed by listening to this guy because he just doesn't stop. It's so persistent on certain things, and I don't care about your 20-year-old love interest, bro, that you clearly didn't get with, you know.
So Lorenz Hart, he kept circling really with the same people. Was there a conversation or a dynamic with any of those extra characters that you enjoyed or was interesting to you?
Certainly Andrew Scott and him, or Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was easily the best conversations where, I mean, we spend the whole movie or most of the movie before Rogers walks in learning about his true feelings. And then once Rogers comes, he puts on an act and even mentions that before he goes in. He's like, the act of the night is here, right? But in the end, it's kind of like, dude, like, what are you doing? Just the guy's actually trying to help you out or trying to like have you be a part of something, but you just let yourself and your overconfidence and your ego get in the way of just being a part of the night almost. Like he hated Oklahoma. He hated like the whole thought of this guy doing better than me. But so he couldn't let that go, even though the guy, Rogers, seems like a pretty nice guy. And he, as we learned through the conversations, he just believes in doing honest work and like having a family, and like he just wants to do his job. And as we learn, like he was not involved in some of the stuff that he claims to be part of. And they try to keep him involved, but your vices really get in the way. So I think the movie really shows like what it's trying to say in those conversations the most. And I also thought Andrew Scott did a great job, and he actually did win some awards in various festivals or other award shows for best supporting actor as well.
Right. For me personally, yeah, I really liked that relationship as well. But the relationship that intrigued me the most was what's the guy's name? Lorenz and the other writer, E.B. Hart. Because yeah, as Lorenz says, like he's an addict to beauty essentially, and he's using all of these eloquent words and just like structuring his expressions in such a way that, like, I don't know, almost overpowers everyone else in the film. But when he's talking with E.B. Hart, he's almost like at the same level because he recognizes that E.B. Hart is also a man of words, and they kind of have like a mutual respect for each other. So I felt as though he was almost grounded when he was talking to E.B. Hart. Whereas in comparison to all the other characters, aside from Margaret Qualley's character, I felt like he was really just, I don't know, he kind of annoyed me, but at the same time, I really was like admiring how he was speaking and how like good of a storyteller he was.
Yeah, just correct. It's E.B. White.
E.B. White, right? What did I say?
Hart.
E.B. Hart.
And Hart is the
okay.
name of Lorenz Hart.
Right.
No worries. Just thought I'd clarify in case someone's going to jump in the comments and be like, by the way, you guys. I found interesting about that relationship. I picked up on the fact that they mentioned Stuart Little, but I didn't totally grasp that it was actually the author, like E.B. White is the author of Stuart Little. So, do you guys watch those movies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
Well, I caught on to that when he was talking about the mouse in his apartment. He called him Stuart.
Yeah. And they asked him, is it like, what should be EU or EW or yeah, that was funny. But I just didn't realize the movie was constantly calling back to certain things. I know there were certain other characters that were supposed to be this person or this person. I don't know them too well because I'm not aware of the history of that time. but they're like a lot of the time the movie is spending time calling back to certain things of that time. I guess it's a nice touch.
Who was your favorite relationship, Josh? Or one that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, to agree with both of you guys, Adam Scott's character was always really good. It always feels like he kind of had something to prove when he talked with him as well. Yeah, like he was just putting up a front, like you were saying, Daniel, kind of being fake in a way and lying. It was kind of a cool dynamic whenever they would talk, then they would get into it and like have a very heated argument. And then by the end they would like be like loving each other in a way. And just like appreciative of each other. And like how it was just it was really interesting. Just the reputation that this guy had and how everyone really looked up to him and how great he must have really been. Because it almost seemed like everyone wanted a piece of him and were just kind of using him in a way to sort of level up and get a leg up in their career. That's what I felt. That's the whole vibe I got from this movie was he wanted so hard to like fit in and to be like a part of everyone's lives and to be, like you were saying, the guy, you know, oh, I'm having this party, this huge party at my apartment. Like you're invited. Even with the flower boy, like really wanting, it was interesting, right? Because in these, yeah, it seems like with this flower boy, it's like, okay, are you in with this flower boy? You're into the girl. And yes, he's he loves beauty, as he put it, right? When he was talking to Margaret Qualley in the closet there, which is actually really kind of ironic, actually, that he shared that in the closet.
Yeah.
Just realizing that now.
Definitely a play on that for sure.
I don't know what if you guys noticed this. I noticed it kind of right away. Just my first thought was, is Ethan Hawke really that short in person? Or was there some camera tricks there to make him shorter than everyone? But it was intentional. I know about halfway through by the end, it was very intentional in a lot of the situations that he was kind of being looked down upon and always looking up to the person, whether he was sitting down on the floor, sitting down on the bar stool, hands on the bar stool, looking up, even with the flowers, the big bouquet of flowers versus the little bouquet of flowers. Did you guys notice that at all? If so, what did you think it mean? Was there something behind that?
Him being short?
Him being short? I mean, it could just be him being short as well too. But like I've noticed, like he would even in situations with Mark Qualley, he sat down on the floor and she was like standing up upon him, looking down. You know?
Yeah, he was. It's definitely symbolizing sort of like just how lowly he is. Because I feel like the movie's not trying to make us sympathize with him. If I'm honest, like they're showing us. I thought like his family members surely weren't like happy with this movie if they wanted it to be something like great for him. The movie is really displaying the downfall of his character, and at the very end mentioning how this Hammerstein, I believe, Oscar. I'll say Oscar because his first name's Oscar. But Oscar and Rogers just like go on to dominate, and this guy just dies several months later. So, I think they are trying to show, yes, he's pretty much lower than everyone else, and I think something interesting I'll point out is I saw in the IMDb trivia thing, which I usually look at for some fun facts. It said like as a goof, like maybe it's a mistake the movie made that he keeps looking consistently shorter. But I thought, no, I think that's probably on purpose. Like they're showing this like symbolically of maybe how low he feels or how low people look at him, and or maybe Rogers feels so much bigger than him at that point, and he's just looking down on this guy, and he's like, well, I'm better than you. Right, or I'm doing better without you. Even though he seems so nice, or try to be nice about the whole thing. And I mean, Lorenz Hart in the end was nice enough to go. I'm not sure if he was invited or not, but either way, like I think the whole movie is playing on that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's actually Ethan Hawke is 10 foot 10 inches. No,
10 foot 10 footer.
5 foot 10 inches.
Yeah, that's a pretty average male height. So they must have made him look shorter.
Yeah, he looked like 4 foot.
Yeah.
What's Lorenz? Is it possible to see what Lorenz Hart's height was? Was that if he happened to be like 5'4"?
Yeah, he was just under 5 feet. So
under 5 feet. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was in fact short. Oh my gosh, that's real short. Because I'm a short guy. I don't know what I'd do if I was 5.
Under 5 foot. That's tough. That's really short.
There must be some medical reason he's that short. Surely. I'd have to do more research, but that's crazy. I guess as a general question, how would you feel if you had a partner in something and like they do better than you in the end?
I think that'd be tough because, I mean, I don't know. Their relationship was kind of interesting because I think Lorenz met Roger when Roger was like, what, 16 or something? And Lorenz was
He's younger. Yeah.
17
23.
and 22. Yeah.
Right. And so there's always been that kind of like older brother figure almost. Lorenz had always been the one to kind of guide their work and everything. And I guess he would always metaphorically look up to Lorenz. And so I think that would be definitely tough, but I don't know. I've done that. my friend and I, well, we had our own painting business together and we split off and we're both doing our own thing and it's totally chill. We're happy with it. But they had a 20-year relationship, so that'd be a lot harder. Especially, and it's art, which is also a tough thing. It's more personal, whereas I guess with painting it's just transaction. It's just business.
It is business.
It's just business, but exactly. Like sometimes it's hard to separate that business relationship and being a friend, right? It seemed like Lorenz wanted to just like kind of be a friend and being sort of casual with it, versus Roger was very like, no, I don't want to have to be calling your mom to find out where you were. I don't want you coming in drunk. Like this is business, so like be professional.
Yeah. So I didn't feel bad for him. Like I'm
No.
like, you kind of did this to yourself, but also just I think Rogers at some point, based on the attitude that Hart showed, like you have to break off because you'll just end up doing whatever Hart insists on doing. Like it doesn't seem like there was much collaboration almost. If anything, like Hart, they said Rogers did the music and Hart would do the lyrics, right? Like that was their combination. And when they're having the conversation about doing whatever musical or play they're going to end up doing, and Hart was like, well, that's kind of dumb. Like I wouldn't do that. And he's like, well, Oscar's going to do that. So it's like that guy is willing to work with Rogers. Well, I feel like Hart, they work together, but it seemed he probably needed to have his say very heavily and not willing to maybe sit back and let this guy do the work if he thinks he can do a better job in this part. So it'd be hard to have a relationship like a business like that.
Yeah. I know, Daniel, you're not sympathetic towards Lorenz, but would you say you are, Josh? Did you feel for him?
Yeah. 100%. Like I even wrote my notes. I was like, man, I really feel for this guy. With the girl, when he's in the closet, I didn't really feel for him because it's like, come on, man, you're 47. This girl's 20, 22. Like, come on, be real. And you know what? I think he knew that. But what really sort of broke my heart a little bit was when they were in the lobby. He introduces, what was Margaret Qualley's name? Anne?
I think this is Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
When he introduced Elizabeth to Roger, they started talking, really hitting it off. And then Roger invites Elizabeth to his party. And then Lorenz was like, oh, like your wife, like whatever. Don't you have that thing with your wife?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But like you're more than welcome to come. We'd love to have you. And I was like, really, Lorenz, like really, you gotta stoop low and mention the wife. But then I felt bad when she's like, oh yeah, I'll go. I'd love to come. Yeah. And just bailed on Lorenz and his party. And then he was just left by himself in the lobby as everyone left. And I was like, oh, Lorenz.
Well, see, I feel bad, but I feel bad for the situation. Like that sucks. But for him, not necessarily. I don't know. Because you mentioned it, like he stoops lower to try and bring people down all the time. The Oklahoma thing where he wouldn't just say Oklahoma. He had to say Oklahoma ! To try and point out like he thinks it's stupid, right? Like he's always looking to do that. And I don't have any sympathy for that. I'm like, you suck. Like, he didn't treat the bartender all that well. You know what I mean? Like the bartender in the end is, I guess, earning money with Hart's drinking, right? Like that's why they have that. But other than that, I mean, I guess bringing this up, like there's not really any real reason any of these people have a relationship with Hart unless it is in fact to maybe get up there.
Transactional, or being used as
Yeah.
leverage.
Because why was she hanging out with him in the first place? And so why, and I'll bring up with this scene, why do you think he was so intent on getting juicy details on her encounters? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Well, one of the things that broke my heart in this film was at the end of the film where he's like talking about Elizabeth. He's like, one day she'll ask me, what am I reading? What am I listening to? Like, I mean, like, obviously the whole film he's talking about himself, but I guess none of the people that he actually cares about kind of reciprocate that, I don't know, that relationship. And yeah, at the end of the film, I mean, all throughout the whole film, he's like, he dislikes that song Blue Moon. But by the end, he's just so defeated that he's like, you know what? This is actually pretty decent. Like, he's just kind of like giving up. He's like, this is as good as it gets, I guess.
Yeah. And the lyrics have everything to do with the situation. Because, just a guy, based on I'm trying to scroll on this thing. Based on the opening lyrics, it's saying that you saw me standing alone without a dream in my heart and without a love of my own. And yeah, he doesn't have a love of his own. He doesn't have a dream in his heart because he's not really working on anything anymore. So yeah, that's just the reality. So I think he hates the song almost as like a symbolic thing of he hates the truth that is in it almost for his life.
Doesn't want to accept it.
Yeah, so if this goes for in general, like you can look at this. People I think need to realize, like, a lot of people say this is just the way I am, right? But not to say that everyone needs to be so captured with appeasing people, but in the end, like when it comes to social dynamics, I think you do have to try and fit in. And I think Lorenz is a very he fights against it so hard. He wants to be the guy that knows it all, the guy that has the best jokes, the guy that gets the most women. And so it ends up coming off as like you're none of those things because you're like so like not focused on actually being part of it. You're focused on just yourself. And so like people in general that are kind of like that kind of need to realize like you need to tone it down a bit or work on this, work on that in order to be the person you want to be. Like, if you wanted to get women, you kind of just have to work on those skills, right? Because there's not an art to it or like one way of attracting women. But everything that he was doing was just the total wrong way of doing so. And the same goes like, I guess if he was interested in men as well, like he just rubs people the wrong way all the time. So that's why it ends up being he only gets people to talk with him because of what he can give them. But I would also just touch on that in general, we as people tend to talk to people because of that, like what we get from people. Even our relationship, I guess, like we feel this unification of like we like movies, we like talking about certain themes. We enjoy this. We don't have this trade-off of you're going to take me to this level necessarily, but we reach the level of this like social belonging. So there's always that like factor to it a little bit.
Right. Going off of that, why do you think Lorenz was so infatuated with Margaret Qualley's character? Like, obviously her looks, but I think it goes deeper than that.
I think so too. I don't know if anything comes to mind per se right now. I think I did read that Lorenz in general had this fascination for some other actress, and I think it was like lightly mentioned in the movie. But it might be this idea of maybe when he's 47 now. He was 22, I guess, when they first started out, and maybe he had these types of women around. But now that he's 47, he's still alone. He might still be chasing these types of women that maybe haven't made it yet, and he can give them that. But at the same time, he wants them to stick around, and they don't. I guess just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely piquing my curiosity as well of why he was so infatuated with Elizabeth. Yeah, same kind of thing comes to mind. I'm thinking maybe previously there was some girl that he was obsessed with, didn't work out, but maybe just her talent, her personality, her looks just reminded him of her. Yeah, other than just like having a transactional relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly don't really know. I also, yeah, I wonder if it's also like I agree, I like what you both said about that. And I wonder if it's also maybe someone at the level of beauty that Margaret Qualley's character pervades is like maybe he's surprised that someone like that would take notice of him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't exactly recall how they ended up in the situation where he's talking about how they were alone together in some, I don't even know what, and she
Well,
like told him, not yet.
well, he invited her to like his lake house or something like that.
Oh, okay, and
Yeah.
she obliged.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta put out a little bit. Actually, no, she doesn't. But cancel him, get him out of here. But it's interesting the fact that that situation even happened. But again, I bring up the closet scene is so I keep saying interesting, but it is. He wanted to know details about her encounter. It wasn't enough for her to just say, "Oh, like we did the do," but he was like really like prying information. So I don't know if that's because he kind of gets not off, but just like gets a certain arousal from hearing other people do things to her, or is it that he is actually into men and so he kind of like is envisioning those types of details for himself. But I don't know. I just thought like the way he was acting was kind of strange,
Right.
especially with like a 47-year-old man with a 20-year-old woman in a closet, like talking secretly, like gossiping. You know, just I was the whole time like, okay, like, I don't need to know. Admittedly, she took so long to get to details though. Like she just kept talking and and, like
did.
describing things.
I don't think she left any details out though.
Yeah, eventually, but just like the amount of words she was using to say certain things, I'm like, we don't need all that. Like, just kind of get to the point. I, well, I thought I read something that like was interesting about her dynamic, how she has someone that isn't really that interested in her, but she's chasing him, while Lorenz Hart is so interested in her, but she has no interest in him and doesn't view him that way.
Yeah, that line where he's like, "No one loves me that much." That one also struck me pretty hard. I can't remember the context, but they were talking about it at the start.
Yeah, I think she says something along the lines of like he didn't love me enough in that moment where he couldn't keep it up.
Right.
Yeah. Which again is the reality, right? Like it's kind of sad. Like you don't have
Yeah.
to sell yourself so short. But
Yeah.
I guess this guy was so handsome she just couldn't resist.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was that handsome, you know. But
Okay, I got it. No, yeah, you go, Josh.
Well, I was just gonna say one of the people I follow on Letterboxd, his comment, he said that he gave 4 stars with a heart. He said, quite possibly the saddest movie ever made for nostalgic theater kids who became middle-aged bisexual alcoholics.
Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Yeah.
So like you being in like a queer film class, Drayden, how did you see this movie with that? Did you kind of watch it with that lens in the back of your mind at all? Did you get anything with that?
Honestly, not really. Yeah,
Okay.
surprisingly. Yeah, I was more so focused on, I guess, his attraction to Margaret Qualley's character and what that meant. It didn't really touch on too many queer themes. I didn't feel, but I could be wrong in that.
yeah, I think that's what I was wondering. Like that whole conversation with him in the closet, like that's what I mean. Like is interesting because is he trying to get satisfaction from what she's saying? But if he's truly not into women, which I think he might be into both, I guess. But why was he so? If he was gay, why was he so interested in getting this information? If he was straight, why? Like, is it just a pathetic thing that you're just interested in knowing what other people can do and you can't? Which I think that happens. To be honest with you, I think there's a lot of guy best friends of women that are into them, and they have boyfriends and they'll confide in them. I mean, everyone knows like this that exists. Everyone knows that
Yeah.
dynamic, and it's like, and it's never you, but it should be you, sort of thing.
You know, you'll be there one time for her shoulder to cry on.
Yeah, shoulder to cry on, and maybe she's
Oh,
feeling
gosh.
weak in the moment. Yeah, that sort of thing. But that would have. I mean, yeah, I've talked about that where maybe my high school years I was interested in other women, but they weren't interested in me, so I would just like pass the time with other people, but it wasn't actually who I was totally interested in. If that makes sense.
Right. I almost wonder if Lorenz is like wanting to hear more of Margaret Qualley's character, Elizabeth, is like his love for just storytelling. He's like a master storyteller. Maybe he just wants to hear the stories. And then maybe she's also like the only one that's actually gives him time throughout the evening.
She gave him all the time, by the way. Like, what happened to the guy she was with?
Yeah.
What happened? I'll steal her for 2 minutes, I think he said.
Yeah, I was
Probably-
thinking
probably
about
for
that.
an
I was
hour.
like, man, I'd be pissed if I was that guy. Like 20
You got the
minutes in the
autograph,
closet.
but-
Yeah, you got the autograph. That's true.
It's funny how anytime Lorenz would be like, just 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. It's like a friggin' 6 to 10 minute scene.
Yeah. Roger on the staircase, Margaret in the closet.
But he just wouldn't stop. I mean, the one
Yeah.
the one scene where he's in the bathroom and the guy just leaves. He keeps talking.
In that scene too, he went to the urinal. He probably didn't even go pee.
He went
Came
three-
out,
he went
talked
3
again,
times.
and then he went back to. He doesn't
He
shut
went 3
up.
times to the urinal. He just
Yeah.
wouldn't stop.
Yeah. And when he realized, like, it was a shot of him seeing that the door was closed, and he realized that the guy was gone. It was like sad. He seemed sad. It was like he realized, he's like, oh, this guy doesn't care what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And that's just it, right? Like, in the end, he keeps talking about it. Like, that's just conversation, right? If someone keeps talking about themselves, you're not going to feel like engaged at all. So you can only it's like coworker stuff, where someone is talking about something and you kind of don't really care. So you're kind of like, yep, okay. And you just move on. You just move on afterwards because that's just like the courtesy thing to do.
I really thought the point of like where this film was situated was extremely interesting. Because like obviously it's getting pretty close to the end of his life. We kind of see how his whole life had gone just through his conversations with the individual characters. And like as someone who has a lot of friends and like family that suffer from addiction, I thought this portrayal was really impactful for me, because like obviously there's a huge loss of trust over the span of someone getting addicted to like substances. And I don't know, like I definitely felt the sympathy as Joshy did, but I'm also in line with you, Daniel, because like I feel really bad for him, but I know what that is like, being friends with someone who has an addiction. And it's like, I don't know, there's so much lying. There's just like, I don't know. I just thought it was really portrayed very well.
Just a lot of denial.
Yeah.
Because that's, I guess, with Rogers, again, like that baffled me that Rogers is offering him work, and he takes that. You give him what's the phrase? You give him a foot, he takes a mile, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
he. Let's do. I want to offer you this. Let's do this together. Oh, and we should do this and that and that and that. And it's like, bro, like, tone it down, please.
Yeah.
Or like satirical and like just way out there. And he's like, I mean, I think that was a depiction of the fact that Rogers, not that he's sold out really, but in terms of expression, he's more focused on the commercial side of it. And Lorenz Hart is so against that. He's like, well, I don't care about what sells. Like, I just want to do this. I want to do that. And, I think a lot happens with writers and artists, people who collaborate often, like they just separate because they don't have, they have different visions. When bands break up, usually it's because, one person has a different vision for what they should do in the next album than the other guy. And so it's kind of best to go your separate ways at that point. But yeah, that baffled me that he just couldn't just be like, yes, I will do that. Sounds good. This is at a workplace. That's what you do, right? You're just absolutely no problem. Okay, get in the bag, get in the game again. And I don't know how long Rogers went on to live for, but I'm assuming a lot longer than Lorenz Hart, or I guess Larry.
I guess just one last question just before we wrap things up here. With Lorenz character, do you feel like there was an arc? Do you feel like you learned something from his development or the way things kind of ended up going at all? What not to do, or you know?
I feel like his arc was kind of just by the end, was just founded in what's it called? Acceptance.
Yeah,
acceptance of like his situation and that he's not so popular anymore. And that's kind of going to be the trend for him. Yeah, it's a tough one to take in.
I'll point out some like related to the acceptance part. I think like a lot of celebrities have a hard time knowing when their light is done. Their time
they're
is
out
done.
of their prime.
They're out of their prime, and it's best to kind of just leave on that. Katy Perry is one of them.
Megan Fox.
Maybe
she's doing like the freaking Dr. Squatch commercials these days.
Oh, okay.
Is she?
Yeah, with like she's like trying to be all sexy and stuff.
And you're kind of just like,
yeah,
it's not Sydney Sweet, you're not Sydney Sweet.
Yeah.
Another one is just Meghan Trainor. I don't know if you heard about Meghan Trainor recently. She had the very big hits in like 2015, 2017, 2014 maybe as well. All about that bass, and there was other ones in that time. That sound is just not really there anymore. But she had to cancel her whole tour because no one's buying tickets. I also saw that she released music recently, and I saw that she did like a brand deal for something that is kind of random. Like you were like, oh, I didn't know. I forget what it is. It's like a cleaner or something. Like she's in the commercial for it. I saw it on YouTube, and it's kind of like, I think it's time to know when, if people are not going to buy tickets to see you play music, as hard as it is, it might be best to look for other avenues.
Yes.
Like that's just it. But I think it's harder for Lorenz Hart because just from a social aspect, he doesn't have anyone, right? And again, the way I view it, he kind of ruins it for himself almost, where he could be a better person when he talks to other people, or just like tone it down, right? Like if you tone it down a bit and you're a good listener and you just build a good relationship, then that could work. But he doesn't do that at all, and so he just rubs people the wrong way, and that's why it's a guy you like shake hands with and you're like, hey, and you catch up for like a minute, but you don't want to really catch up with him, and you kind of leave him to the side after a little while. Like that's just the reality of, if people are like that, they're going to be treated that way. So I don't know. I hope, well, he's dead now anyways, but the story just, I don't know why. I guess the writer knows about this, that Lorenz Hart is like that. I don't really know why the writer wrote this story, but I think it was just like overall the lesson we learn, or the arc. We just see the reality of like what it is to kind of lose your light in, or what vices can do to you. Because he kept drinking too, or like he drank at the very end. He was supposed to leave, or he cut him off, and I think there's a lot to take from it, but I don't know if realizing there's not really an arc per se, more just a demonstration of this type of night, what it would look like for.
Yeah, no, I agree with things both of you guys said. I guess just one small tidbit, I guess, what I'd learn from his experience and just interacting with people is just, be yourself. Don't be genuine. Don't try to be a different person based off who you're talking to. But yeah, also because of that, I think is why people maybe weren't so keen on being his friend. But also, like you said, he had those addictions, right? And with addiction comes lying and betraying and, sleeking around, and just doesn't really end too well with having relationships with, loved ones and friends. I guess before we wrap up, any last final thoughts on this episode of Blue Moon?
I do have one question, but I feel like we should just end it. That was a good ending.
No, you can ask it.
Okay, so there's one part in the film where Oscar's neighbor, which is like a 10-year-old boy,
I love that part.
he goes up, Lorenz asked, like, who's your favorite playwright? And he says Oscar. And anyways, as they leave that conversation, like the kid is like, yeah, that he's not even that poetic. His language isn't even that great. But we're basically taught the whole film that he is like the master of language, essentially. So what did you guys like think of that? Do you feel like it was just a funny thing to put in, or is there something to say there?
What I actually thought about it when he said that is like kids, and people say this a lot, like little kids, they won't sugarcoat things. They'll just be very blunt about about their opinions on people, or like, oh, why are you, like, they'll be like, why are you so fat? Why are you like, why are you so big? You know,
Yeah.
or just things where you kind of have to laugh it off because kids don't have that filter. And I feel like that kid didn't really have that filter of like dealing with that guy, because in reality, he sees through him of, well, he's actually not that great, or he's not this, he's not that. Like, I prefer this guy. So that's what I thought of when that happened. But the little kid is supposed to be a young director. I forget who it is. Steven Soderheim. Is that the name?
And he's gonna be like a big playwright or something.
Yes. Stevie Sondheim was an American composer and lyricist regarded as one of the most important figures in the 20th century theater, accredited with reinventing the American musical.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it says here in at least Wikipedia that he was supposed to be. And he would have been 13 at the time,
Interesting.
based on this.
Yeah, when that kid said those words, one of the words he used as well is lazy. And, and so right away I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's washed. You know, like he's past his prime. Like he's done. Like, yeah, that's what I thought. You know, it was a good reality check for Lorenz to realize, okay, yeah, you know, you don't got the juice no more.
Yeah. I feel like that scene actually just kind of made me rethink the whole movie. I was like, and the whole time I was building his character up in my mind, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
he's like such a good
Yeah,
storyteller.
me too. Exactly the same thing. Yeah.
No, I kind of saw through that he was really overshooting himself in terms of like praising himself and what he does. Like that's the type of character that is. Usually guys that are so high praise on what they do, you know, it's subjective, I guess, like, or yeah, subjective, that you can say, oh, well, maybe you're not, you can do this better. There's always room for improvement. So people that think that there's no room for improvement or they do things perfectly, well, you're wrong. That's just it. And I think Rogers it shows that. Rogers shows that he wanted to work in different avenues. He can work with different people, while Hart is so fixated on how dare this guy like not even want to work with me anymore. And he's going to do the best thing he's ever done so far. That he has to put it down and find everything wrong with Oklahoma that he could. Mind you, I've never seen the musical, so I don't know.
So bad. It's so
Really?
bad.
You hate it?
Like, obviously, I'm not at the level of those writers, so I can't like critique it well. But I watched that on a date one time, and I just wanted to peel my eyes out.
Well, maybe you are like Lorenz. Nah,
Maybe
but-
he was onto something.
Yeah, he's onto something. I don't even know what Oklahoma does or what happens. But I know they went on to do The Sound of Music as well, which is pivotal, I think, just for film and music. So they've done some good stuff.
Question. Last question of the night. We got to wrap this up. But do you think that Lorenz really had a party at his house? Like really, or was he just?
Absolutely not. And who was going to go to that? You know, actually, that would have made the scene of the movie even more depressing. Imagine they show him like walk back to his apartment.
Oh,
No, he has like a bunch of like things set up, and no one. I think he was just jealous. He was so jealous and wanted somehow to distract people from going to celebrate Rogers and Oscar with him, and just go and celebrate with him. But in reality, no, I don't think he had anything set up, and probably because he knew the reality of the situation is that no one would go back, minus maybe his beloved Elizabeth.
right.
You remember that scene from The Office where Michael's having his own little party downstairs? He's sitting there by himself.
That's actually a great example. He is essentially like Michael Scott.
He is Michael Scott.
He thinks he's the greatest at this and that, and everyone wants to be his friend. He's so popular, and in reality, you just kind of want to avoid the guy.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of who that type of person is.
Yeah, a modern day Lorenz Hart, Michael Scott, everybody.
He might think Oklahoma sucks too.
You guys should watch it. It's actually super racist too. Like it has not aged well.
I will. Is it a movie now?
Yeah,
Probably a movie.
1955.
Okay, Oklahoma depicted, and the original musical. I'd be interested. Also, just want to touch that. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, it said at the ending in the words that he died because the power went out due to like an air raid. Like, I imagine that.
Crazy.
Like, that's just the reality of the time where you're in wartime, so the power gets cut. And this is a reality in certain countries. Like, imagine you're in the hospital and the power just goes out.
Such a sad way to die. Like, didn't he fell over drunk and then he got pneumonia and then went to the hospital and could. That's just so sad.
I'll just touch that. It's also interesting they showed his death pretty much before the movie started instead of at the end. But anyway.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps up our episode on Blue Moon. Yeah, great movie. Recommend go see it if you haven't. One of Ethan Hawke's best performance, hands down. It's unfortunate that he didn't get the I mean, I guess he was recognized, but
yeah, the movie deserved a lot more than what it got,
for sure,
in my opinion, at least.
But that wraps things up for today's episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Before we close off here, though, we just want to let you know that next week we will be reviewing the Devil's Wears Prada, the OG one. When did it come out?
5, 6, 7.
Mid 2000s, mid early 2000s. So we're gonna be reviewing that in preparation for the sequel to The Devil Wears Prada number 2. 2. There's a lot of hype.
We're tapping into our
hype.
feminine side.
But yeah, also I guess I'll just bookmark it right here. But Sarah was also wondering if she could join and be a special guest on The Devil Wears Prada episode.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she can take my place, I guess, unless we do it earlier.
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we if you wanna watch it and record, we can record before. But if it's gonna be too much, we could also just do it after the three of us. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, so we will be having a special guest come on next week for The Devils of Prada. My wife Sarah, she loves the movie, so she really wants to kind of put her 2 cents in. So
we're gonna really grill you, Sarah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna really try and put thematic elements of film.
She's got some good takes. So
okay.
Look forward.
We'll let her lead
hearing.
The conversation.
Yeah, we'll let her facilitate.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify. Turn those push notifications on so you'll get notified whenever we post. I know we've been a little inconsistent with when we post, but we're doing our best to pump these episodes out. So, also let us know if there's any movies that you want us to review as well. We're more than happy to sort of review movies that you're interested in. So let us know. And, have a good week, and we'll see you next week, guys.
See ya.